there is something, a self, or a separate intelligence, or a personal intelligence, whatever you want to call it, that is looking at this, is looking at the wavelets, is looking at this personal, quote unquote, personal experience, and asking what is its purpose. So another way of putting it is, you are in a night dream and you have two dream characters that are traveling to Esbikurukulustan. And dream character A turns to dream character B and asks them, what is the purpose of traveling to Esbikurukulustan? And you, the dreamer of this dream, is believing this question. It's a metaphor, okay? I'm using a metaphor. You're buying into actually they are actually traveling to some to some place, and that there is a purpose to their trip. You see? Now, having said all of that, basically erasing your question, let me answer your question in a different way. So I'm going to assume, I'm going to enter into your dream. Okay? It's a second best answer to your question. So the purpose of all wavelets, of all the waves, is to realize that they are water. Is to realize that they are the same substance as the substance of the ocean. Is to the realization of your true nature. It's only this one purpose. But this answer is, I'm addressing your mind question with a mind answer. What else is new?
But you're not, or maybe you are saying, we're not just supposed to, we're supposed to just be. And the universe...
Who is you, or we, I mean, who is supposed to just be? You see, you're back to assuming. I know it's a habitual thing. Not the problem. Is just recognizing it with you. There's a habitual tendency to go back to that base where I am this body-mind. But yet, in the exploration, ask yourself, like, what is, who is it that's supposed to be anything? Beingness, the term used, beingness, refers to not to an activity. It refers to isness. It's not a doing. So there isn't any supposed to be, because supposing to be is like now using the verb to be as a doing. I am going to be. I'm going to do this and that in order to be. It's not an activity. Beingness, the term used, is to refer to the eternity of consciousness. Again, language is limited in it's metaphoric, but it's referring not to an activity, but to presence. Presence is not an activity. Let's say that seeming activities are made out of presence, but presence is not made out of an activity. So what you truly are is not an activity. Activities are made out of the aware presence that you are. So I detect that in your question you're looking for something to do. for something to do.
Is
So,
surrendering a to-do?
I'm sorry?
Is surrendering a to-do?
Is surrendering a to-do? Well, before I say that, so, so if you're looking for something to do, and again, I'm just compromising with you, okay? Notice that tendency. Notice the tendency of looking for something to do. This is in order to of course be happy. I need to do. Notice that tendency, that habitual tendency that comes in and says, "There's something I need to do in order to." As soon as you buy into that there is something I need to do, a practice or whatever it is, in order to be happy, you have unnoticingly, unknowingly postponed your happiness. You said, okay, you said to yourself, okay, I will be happy later. Like, remember years ago?
I was listening, so I understand what you're saying.
Yes. It's like
I
a
feel that
free beer tomorrow, at the free beer tomorrow. I remember first reading that. I was at the bar. I said, "Oh, they have free beer. That's free beer tomorrow." Took me a while.
You never get to tomorrow.
You never get to tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Free beer tomorrow, right? You were asking about surrendering? Yes, surrendering. Oh. So about surrendering, one could say that consciousness is already surrendered. Meaning, surrendering is saying yes. It's like saying, okay, say yes to that. So surrendering is, there is like surrendering as I have to do an effort to surrender me. I have to, what is it I need to do to surrender? And there is a surrendering, realizing that you're already surrendered. Like right now, you're already surrendered to hearing these words. Okay? A sensation arises, let's say a sensation arises in your leg, okay? And there are two things happening. There is a sensation arising and you're already noticing it, otherwise you wouldn't even have the sensation. So already there is a surrendering to the sensation, meaning as soon as there is something that is perceived, there is already a surrendering that has occurred. And then the mind might say, thought arises, meaning, okay, when I say the mind might say, I don't refer that there is a mind, but a thought might arise, oh, I don't want to feel that. So what has happened when the thought has arisen that says, I don't want to feel that, is that at that very moment, there has been a complete surrendering to that thought. In other words, that thought has been perceived, and there is no way to perceive anything without a surrender. In other words, you're already surrendering right now to hearing these words, which it's just the very act of hearing these words is a surrender. So the very act of perceiving this thought that says, oh, I don't want to feel this sensation, is already a proof of surrender. So once you start noticing that, you will find that, oh, well, wait a minute, I'm always surrendered. Even to the resistance, say, oh, I wish this wasn't happening to me. You already surrendered to that thought. And then you'd say, oh, that thought, I wish this wasn't happening to me, is making my belly ache. You already surrendered to the sensation of your belly aching. Once you start noticing that actually what you truly are is an ongoing surrendering that's already so, without you doing anything and without you practicing surrender, then you're coming to the true surrender. You're coming to understanding what surrender is. Surrender already is. The consciousness is openness of being. What hears these words right now is pure presence. Pure presence. Would you ever say that this space is surrendered? if you want to use that term, I would say, if you give me a box, say, the question is, Magdi, this space here, is it surrendered? And there is 2 boxes only, 2 options, yes or no. I would say yes, But if I had a third choice, I would say, what sort of question is this? This is a silly question. But I have only 2 choices, so I say yes. So, a me cannot surrender, because a me is made out of resistance and pursuit. Resisting something and pursuing something else. Which is what we refer to as unhappiness. So the I cannot surrender. But there can be an understanding which is not a mind process, that in this very moment is complete surrender. Effortlessly, without self, without a me. That one could say that consciousness is surrendered to this, that this conversation is surrendered to consciousness. Or that this perception is surrendered to consciousness. Just staying within that language, I usually don't talk about surrender and things like that, but just to answer your question, and so there are a lot of concepts and terms that we haven't examined, and we have some sort of understanding about them, but what's hidden behind the understanding about these terms and these concepts is the assumption that I am a body-mind. Body-mind arises to you as a perception. Here is this body, you perceive it. Are you this body? You can look at your hand. I perceive this hand. Am I this hand? No, I am the aware presence that perceives this hand. No more hand, There is a hand. Or some people, you can lose it here. Whatever questions about practice they come from an impression, a me impression, that wants to use something, wants to use a practice in order to. What's happening actually in satsang is no practice is being given to you, because practice has a repetitive thing. I want to take it home and repeat it. But there are a lot of pointers, a lot of tools being presented, and they're like different pointers. In every question, and even in the meditation, there are tools that are being presented. Yeah, but it's not a practice that you need to sort of repeat. There is no life and creativity and freshness in repetition. You can repeat something once or twice and 3 times, and then, okay, I want to, I want to improvise. It's like you learn a little bit how to mix the paints and so on, and then you want to create. You see, I want to repeat the same painting over and over. You're welcome.
As soon as I sat down, I became incredibly exhausted and fighting sleep. I mean, totally